Thanks for watching. I'm Margot Kinberg, and this is In the Spotlight, a closer look at a crime novel. This week, we're continuing our special series on the finalists for this year's Niall Marshall Award for the Best in New Zealand Crime Fiction. Today, let's turn the spotlight on Kirsten McDougall's She's a Killer. It's the near future, but this is a dystopian reality. Climate change has wreaked havoc on much of the world, and those with money, often called wealthugees, have bought up most of the habitable land. For others, water is rationed, decent food is expensive and in very short supply, and housing is crowded and hard to find. New Zealand is one of the few places left where people can live relatively decent lives, and wealthugees have taken notice. Against this background, we meet Alice, a single 30-something university employee whose job is to recruit and counsel students. She's a little unusual. She's an intellectual genius with sociopathic tendencies. She lives with her mother Louise, with whom she communicates in Morse code. She also has an invisible friend, Simp. She resents the wealthugees and has a cynical view of just about everything. But things change completely for Alice when she meets a wealthugee named Pablo. He takes her to dinner and buys her food she could never have a chance of getting otherwise. Before long, she allows him to talk her into temporarily taking care of his 15-year-old daughter, Erica, while he travels out of the country. And Erica proves to be Alice's intellectual equal. It's not long before Alice finds herself drawn into a strange plot to save the planet. It's elaborate and carefully planned, and at first Alice has no interest in being a part of it. But before she knows it, she is involved, and the question becomes whether the plan can be pulled off before it's too late for Alice and the planet. So, what are the elements in this novel? What keeps it together and keeps it moving? Well, this is speculative fiction, so some suspension of disbelief is involved. Readers who like their disbelief right with them when they read will notice this. The story is told from Alice's viewpoint, first person, past tense. So we learn quite a lot about her. She's a bit of a prickly misfit with a sarcastic sense of humor and no close relationships, really, even with people she dates. She's also brilliant and quick thinking, so it's not hard to see how people would want her on their side in a conflict. Her perception of the climate catastrophe offers an unusual perspective on this issue. And the climate is a critical element in the novel. Climate disaster is part of many discussions right now, and McDougall makes the point that discussing isn't enough. It's also clear in the novel that those with money can afford to take advantage of the changing climate, while those without will suffer the most. So the novel also brings in the interaction of climate change and class. The book is bleak in some senses, but there is a lot of wit in it too, particularly in the form of Alice's way of seeing the world and relating to it. For instance, at one point, she and Pablo are out to dinner. Pablo says, "You like brie. Tell me something else about yourself." Alice says, "Could I answer that in gifs?" She has an offbeat and unusual way of interacting, and her occasional one-line remarks keeps the story from being overly dreary. There's also an element of the thriller in the novel, especially in the second half as the plot to save the planet takes shape, and the various pieces of the plot come together. The pacing and timing speed up, and there are murders and other crimes committed as a part of it. She's a Killer explores what might happen to ordinary people when climate change goes too far, and tells the story of a plot to stop it. It features a solid New Zealand setting and an oddball protagonist who doesn't really fit in, but who might be just what the climate justice movement needs. This has been In the Spotlight. I'm Margot Kinberg. Thanks for watching.